This conference will
evening,
now be
everybody.
recorded.
Glad to see you all here. I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our new employee, Kelsey Mitchell, and she's our new administrative assistant.
All right,
So,
welcome.
Just got new hire here.
Absolutely.
Welcome
Love it.
aboard. First thing is approval of the minutes of May 20th. Oh, have to appoint a term.
So you don't have to appoint an alternate, but I would recognize that we are using an alternate this week.
Okay. And if we do an alternate and he shows up, what happens?
You roll right on.
Okay. Who would like to volunteer to be?
Why don't you do it?
Okay.
Okay. We'll have Scott. Scott,
She's
Yes, ma'am.
first off.
we're going to have you as the alternate. And pronounce your last name for me.
Malashevsky.
Malashevsky.
Yes, ma'am.
So I got that correct?
Yep.
Great. All right. Scott's going to be our alternate. And first thing we got to do is approve the minutes of May 20th meeting. It's in the packet. Is there any corrections that need to be made or?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right. We have a second?
Second.
And a second. All agree? Say aye. Raise your hand. Our third thing on the list is the administrative site plan review, and I'm going to let Jean speak about this a little bit.
This is an update to a previous site plan that you saw several months ago. This is 296 Taylor Notion Road, approximately 1 acre, zone D20. Proposal consists of a 1-story, 1,800 square foot wood frame office building. There's a 20 by 24 foot loading zone and 5 20 by 10 foot parking spaces and 1 handicap accessible parking space. The project is going to use an on-site septic system. It's going to be an engineered option permit. The site does not require a state stormwater permit, but the applicant has provided stormwater management area on the site. The Western Carteret Fire Department reviewed the site plan and found that it was acceptable and that it appears to meet the 2018 North Carolina Fire Code requirements. I'd also like to point out that Deanna McElrath, thank you, reviewed the site plan and that she found that it was much more feasible with her development and on the traffic flow, and she looks forward to the new neighbors breaking ground. So she found that the site plan was much improved over the previous submission. There were very few minor things that needed to be added to the notes on the site plan based on our ordinance, but the materials that they provided were consistent with what our requirements are. Josh Edmondson is here from Tidewater Associates. If you'd like to present anything, and I do have some of your site plans up here. If the board has any questions for him.
Good evening, Josh Edmondson, Tidewater Associates. Really, if you would, maybe, think you guys have a copy of the site plan, maybe. Can you go over the video that's sent over? Just provide you a visual of the exterior there of the look that Mr. Gaines will be kind of going for. Again, it's board and batten, siding, architectural shingles or metal roofing. They haven't decided yet. But pretty basic. Obviously, this is a scaled back design from what we previously did. So really urgent time and issue. Mr. Gaines has got to get his office here quick as possible. So we scaled back. Again, just to provide a little bit more information on stormwater. While we weren't required to provide any stormwater retention, we did want to get neighbors. So our current design, the retention can retain the first 2 inches of runoff, which is standard in NCDQ permitting for coastal counties. So while not required to meet or submit a permit request through NCDQ, we are meeting minimum design standards as if we were getting permits. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have for us as far as layout design, anything like that. We will be applying for our septic tank permit. We're waiting for approval, and then we'll be applying for that. We have had preliminary soil evaluations done by Pittman Soil Surveying, and everything's good to go. We just want to make sure there's no modifications from board meeting before we submit that paperwork to the county.
Do we have any questions you'd like to ask?
Well, the septic was my main question.
Okay.
Because the approval won't take place until we get a copy of the septic permit.
Correct.
It
Once,
can't-
yeah, once that is, we'll forward that to you once it's,
Right.
once it's obtained.
And there's several other items which you're required to present on the final plan.
Yes, we'll have those that commissioners need.
Okay? So the planning board won't have an opportunity to review those.
Well, they're just,
Okay.
comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with this, if it's your pleasure to approve this site plan, make a contingent on all the comments being met and all the permits being in hand. It's the most efficient way to do that. Because we as staff would let it pass go, the commissioners did that, and took your motion into account. All those things would have to be in hand before we officially took the action. So that's the best way to move forward if it's your pleasure.
In comparison to the plan that we were delivered a few months ago, and the plan that we have in our hands now, is this property going to be a phased development to meet the needs of the original plan, or will it strictly be the plan that we're holding in our hands now?
Okay. So this is potentially a phased development. The site, the way it's set up now, does allow us to expand. If you know, in the future, Mr. James would like to. Again, stormwater, septic, everything is set up for any potential future expansion of an additional phase, of which at that time we have to come back before you guys to seek approval of any expansion or any additional phase.
And the septic that you're applying for will also be in line with those future
So
stages?
The evaluations we have done is for 2 systems. So it will be potentially 2 systems, one for this first phase, and then we have already got room for an additional phase if we have another system towards the rear of this property.
Thank you.
Yes. What about the parking for a second building?
Yes, ma'am, we have enough room for parking. We would have enough room for parking at that time.
Is this a substantial departure from the first plan?
Correct.
But it's your intention to build more to encompass probably what you asked for in the first plan.
No, ma'am, it would not be as big. I can't remember the size. I think both of those buildings buildings were, what were about 5,000 square feet?
They're twice that size.
Twice that size.
I have, I have the plan, it's quite a bit more.
Yes, this first phase was much smaller, and the second phase did not encompass any more than encompass less than the first site plan.
And you're saying that you would build behind the existing building that's on this plan?
So it'd be to the south, yes, ma'am. It'd be back towards the
Rough area. This area.
Just to remind y'all, the plan will have to come back to the very same process. Just get that figured out.
Right now, we're just talking about this particular plan.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to make a motion to accept the plans as is?
And contingent upon,
So I would recommend conditional, if I could, conditional approval. Based upon getting, them meeting all comments and us having all state other permits
having all other permits in hand?
and meeting all.
Okay. Say anything?
Was that a motion?
Make a motion.
Did Jeremy make a motion?
no, I was asking if you did, were you making a motion?
Right.
Okay. I will second that motion.
Did you have that, Julie?
The vote.
Vote.
All in favor of? Did you get that, Julie?
You're gonna make a motion back.
Now, for the plan.
Make sure that it's set.
is Jeremy acting as a plan that you want under tonight, or is Scott?
It would be Scott have to. Didn't Scott have to vote or make a motion?
So y'all did bring him on, yes,
We
so
did.
he needs to make a motion, or needs to keep on.
He's the alternate.
So then do I need to be? No, my question is, again,
So we need another motion. For
So-
approval.
So,
I'm just confused, so if, which I have no problem with this, but if the alternates were supposed to be here in lieu of the planning board members, is what I understood, right?
that's correct.
And I apologize for being late, but I'm here now, you know, as not an alternate.
And that's the pleasure of the chair, not the rest of the. There's no right or wrong answer.
Well, since Jeremy showed up, I guess we can have him, he's
I mean,
on.
you know, let him make the motion. I'm just making sure that I understand how we're doing now.
And Scott, excuse Scott as the alternate to Jeremy. Everybody
Perfect.
Very good.
Agreeable?
Yep, sounds
All
good.
three?
Let's move on.
And
Okay.
again, I want to apologize to everyone here and the audience.
So just for the record, if I can recap the motion that you made, that recommended conditional approval based on all the vote comments, which they purpose be received.
That is correct. That's probably my. People at home didn't hear me.
All right. So we're all in agreement. Okay, we have the fourth item is a rezoning request for the McLean Holding LP at 110 Manatee.
This is a 0.3 acre tract currently zoned R13. The request is to rezone it to B20. The lots in the vicinity on the northern side are already zoned B20. The proposal is that this be used for a professional office similar to the size of a building that's already on the adjacent lot that is Zone B20. When considering zoning map amendments and changes, the planning board shall advise and comment on whether the proposed action is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and provide a written recommendation to the Board of Commissioners addressing the plan consistency.
I want to give further explanation for that, because we didn't walk through that. So, long story short, if you look in your package, you see a new way of, so, and this is exactly what this says. It's directly from General Statute 162. So, in a perfect world, and how we would like to do things moving forward, is to make sure that the planning commission is forwarding a statement to the board of commissioners for their consideration. That's part of the general statute. It is not a you should, it's a you shall. So moving forward, if you look at that form that I provided you, it's very easy to walk through. And as you consider this, I'll help you in that to make sure that you have that. It's completeness before it's the board of commissioners. Glad to answer your questions you have about that.
What about the size of the lot on my package is 13.5. Requirement for B20 is 20,000. Yes.
It is an existing lot, but yes, ma'am, you're correct.
So is it your idea to add to the property all the way back to Bonita?
We may go to the west,
Yes.
to the south. We may build more than just this one building. Is that the question?
No, sir.
The lot size.
The lot size is 13,500 square feet. B20 requires 20,000 square feet minimum.
Well, the easy explanation is 108 Manatee Street got 27,000. If you add this to it, which is the same, would be 40,000 square feet.
Okay, how are you?
So are you adding?
We'll combine. We'll combine if you
Yeah,
want us to,
yeah.
108 and 110, that's all.
I just want you to
Yeah.
be in compliance. I'm not,
So 40,000 square feet is in.
right.
Sometimes I do.
But- Yeah, because as the
It's right close.
the statute does say, you got to be at least 20,000. So if y'all combine them two together, yes, that would be double the actual.
Right.
Yes.
I just don't want you to be
Yeah.
hamstrung later.
All right, love
I
you.
want you to be in compliance.
Bye.
So what we need to do is highlight that, Gene, making that lot included in that.
So,
But-
y'all can consider it like this tonight, but you need to amend your request for request to the commission.
I assume we can get conditional approval.
Yeah.
contingent upon finding all other.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And it'll just be the recommendation that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
Let
well,
Jean lead
I'll
us
make a
through.
motion that we'll put it on hold until the next meeting.
No, no, no.
No. What he's saying is making it conditional upon, that's what he was saying.
So, let me walk you through this process.
Yes.
Right.
So what you would need first is a motion, a recommendation to approve or deny this request. It's the pleasure of this board to make that motion. You want to make that motion to approve or deny the request.
Based upon how it's,
Based upon the modification.
Okay.
Allow the additional
Okay.
square footage.
So our approval would be with the recommendation of adding. Is
A
that correct?
motion, yes, ma'am, a motion to add the additional square footage.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion for approval for adding extra square feet. All in favor?
I'll second that.
Second? And first it? I have to have a first.
I thought
I
you.
thought
oh, I thought you were
Oh,
making,
okay, I'll make the first,
You
that's
made the
fine.
chair. You made the
Yeah.
motion, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
and,
Vote.
And she was seconding,
And
so
all-
she seconded.
Okay, and she seconded it. All in approve? Say aye. So,
Right.
get that,
So now we move to the statement of consistency and reasonableness. You see that in your next bullet point down. So again, this is the easy form, you have your approve or not. So the next statement, and y'all need to consider this now. And I have some proposed verbiage, and I'm glad to read that to you. You can do with it what you will. The commissioners, so you're making this to the commissioners, it's recommendation. Commissioners. Find and determine that this request is consistent or is not consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the county or comprehensive and county land use plan for the purpose. Okay? So I would assume that you would find that it is consistent since you recommended approving. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So now you need the reasons, and this is something that the courts look at specifically whenever they're reviewing these zoning cases. So I would offer, but again, you modify this however you want, or amend it however you want. It's consistent because, I can't read my own handwriting now. It's in the vicinity of adjacent B20 lots.
Yes.
Yes.
And the lots are vacant.
Yes. And the three most adjacent properties are all B20 and occupied the same way.
And in the same ownership.
Yes.
Yes.
Same
Which is perfect.
Yep. Yes.
So if that's your statement, we'll ask that to that. So reasonableness, it is or is not reasonable in the public interest. Because the adjacent lots are vacant and under the same ownership, it does not affect surrounding properties negatively. And you can accept this, you can modify it, you can do with it what you will.
I agree with that.
I agree with that statement wholeheartedly.
Can you read that one more time, Jim?
Yes, ma'am. Because the adjacent lots are vacant and under the same ownership, it does not affect surrounding properties negatively.
Thank you.
So now, Madam Chairwoman, you would ask for a motion that is consistent, that is not consistent for those reasons, that is reasonable or not reasonable for those reasons.
okay. I'm gonna make a motion that it is consistent and it is reasonable in the public interest because of the same owners.
Well, I think what he's asking is we're supposed to, each one, is that correct? I'm lost on that. Are we each one supposed to say whether we agree with it or disagree with it?
So no.
Okay.
Let me drop it just a second. So, if I was making the motion, I would make the motion that it is consistent.
Yes.
For the reason that I just read.
Right.
And so if I was a board member, I would make that motion if I found that it was consistent. And then, of course, you'd need a second and call for a vote.
Right, it is consistent for the public interest and the same owners.
And that other lots are adjacent to the property is.
They are vacant
Yes. It's
properties.
vacant under the same ownership.
So is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second,
And then the same for reasonableness. It is or is not consistent or reasonable, and in the public interest. So it sounds like, and again, I can't make the motion, but
I believe that it is reasonable due to the fact that everything around it is B20 or the adjacent lots is B20. So yes, I think it is reasonable and in the interest of the town.
Thank you.
have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
I think I kind of tongue-tied my words, but.
You did great. You did great.
You did fine. So we'd like a new form here, Gene.
Well, it's a very transparent way to do it. So.
I hope you all understand what we just did.
Wait, this and then return the page and, okay, I was like.
And
I was like, I'm sitting
everybody
here
in
going,
favor?
I turn the page and then I gotta go this way.
Everybody in favor?
I was making sure it wasn't just me.
Okay, we have, the next item is the ordinance amendment unifying development ordinance on home childcare.
All right, I'll run with this one. So we talked about this at last month's meeting. And if you look in your packet, we ultimately get to that very same form. So this form is the same for a text amendment or a zoning map amendment. I'm not going to propose anything on this one, but I will tell you what we changed here. So if you remember last month, daycare centers, we substituted that for daycare facilities. There's no difference there. And then daycare homes for home child daycare. So we took those out and added new definitions for your review. And if you look, daycare centers are permitted in the business districts, the B10, the B20, and the B30. We did not include it in the TC because that can be controlled by the underlying district. So the TC is an overlay district, so it would fall back to the underlying district. No need for duplicity on that. The home or the daycare homes are permitted in the residential districts, the R10, R10M, R13, R20, and R30. If you look down, these are very similar to the very same thing that you reviewed last month. In fact, there's no substantial change to that. The only substantial change after that is there is a note in here under daycare home or daycare, the centers and daycare homes. It daycares as accessory uses to churches. A daycare center shall be allowed as an accessory use to a church in a zoning district where churches are allowed. These accessory uses shall be compliant with all federal, state, and local regulations. So it's a simple statement. I like simple. I think simple is good. So, y'all have any questions about this?
I think it's very clear. Consistent.
Yeah, I agree that it is consistent as well.
Anybody like to make a motion accepting the changes?
So with the Sheena, we're using the same form to go off of this one as well?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to walk us through it again so we get really good at it?
I would be tickled to. So the first motion is the motion to approve or deny. So it sounds like y'all are all consistent that you want to make the motion to recommend approval of this. So it would be appropriate to have that motion first.
Okay.
Move to approve.
The text amendment. You second?
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor?
Okay. So now we get down to the statement of plan consistency and reason. So do you find that this is, find and determine that this recommendation is consistent with the goals and objectives and policies of the land use plan? It could be for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
I think that it clarifies the ordinance. I think it adds simplicity to the ordinance, and I think it's consistent with the direction the town has been headed as far as land use regulations over the last several years.
I think it's responsible in the public interest. Approval. Make a motion. I second.
We're just voting on if it's consistent or
Your
not.
motion is that it is consistent.
Yes, it is.
And I agree that it is consistent.
The form's backwards.
Yeah.
You're- The first one is consistent,
So
and the public interest is
typically-
second.
Sure. Well, and because I'm walking you through this, it typically you would find it is consistent, and then you would tell me the reasons why for the record to take to the Board of Commissioners.
Yeah.
So that's the correct order of those things. And again, it could be because it simplifies our land use regulations. That would be a great reason for it to be consistent. That is consistent with what's currently in
goals.
town. With what's currently in town. It could be because of the goals and objectives of the land use plan. It could be any of those reasons.
Mhm.
Or all of those reasons.
I believe it simplifies and provides clarity.
Mhm.
Makes regulation simple.
It is consistent.
So it's reasonable and in the public interest. So that would be the next one you took.
Yes, it is reasonable for the public interest because
It's reasonable because it simplifies.
it simplifies the child rules, child care.
That's a great reason, for sure.
Okay.
Agree.
Okay.
Second. Did you make a motion on
A
that?
second,
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
is everybody in favor of it? Approved? Julie, did you understand me? Okay, Jean, next meeting, Commissioners meeting July 14th.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you'd like to say about who'd like to speak at the Commissioners meeting?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. Is there anything you're going to bring up at the meeting, Jean?
No, ma'am, nothing of a planning nature outside of what y'all have made recommendation on tonight.
Okay. And the next planning board meeting is July 15th, 2025. Is that agreeable with everyone? I know it's summertime.
Will not miss the next.
Okay. All right, in town comments, staff comments?
I have none.
Jill?
The chairwoman introduced her, but you're.
Would you like to speak?
I'm just happy to be here and looking forward to working with you all for 2 years.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to serve the town of King Carteret for the last 2 years.
Oh, will it? The last one?
I still get to call you and bug you though, right?
Thank you, Julie, for everything.
Thanks, Julie. Any comments from the board?
Yes, ma'am. I want to report after I personally paid to have Dolphin Drive resurfaced, great results out of my personal checkbook. I've received a proportionate share of the resurfacing from everyone except the Swains. And I hope they'll come forward with their money. But I think the job was well done. It didn't inconvenience anybody. For 2 days, they worked hard and resurfaced that street, and it's a wonderful improvement. I'm not sorry I did it. I just would like to get my money back.
They did an excellent job with traffic control.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And I will say it's nice pulling in there and not getting whiplash now. It's wonderful.
Thank you. I'll keep you posted.
Oh, as the saga goes on.
May I ask why it's not on the PAL bill, that road?
Never been offered to the town. It's never been offered to the town.
It's a private
It's a
road.
public street. And I don't know if the town, if it were offered, if the town would accept it, but that can be pursued in the future if the town and the property owners wish it.
How many miles would that be in money for PAL? Anyway. And Jean, thanks for the new form.
It'll take a little getting used to, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like the steps it takes us through.
For
Appreciate
sure.
that.
Absolutely.
It makes it more than just saying something. We're actually
Exactly.
calling to account.
Giving our opinion.
Well, certainly when you forward that to the commissioners, it really looks good that you've given it thought, you've given it reason. You give them the reason you made the decision that you made. And also it's consistent with statutes. There's that too.
Julie, could you give him the notes on our meeting, on our reasoning, before he meets with the commissioners?
I'll have the minutes done tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
That would be
Yes.
kind for him to have.
And now it's just a matter of what, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, second the motion to adjourn. Anybody want to second it?
Second.
Second. All in favor? And don't you all tell me you can't be at the meeting on the 15th. Oh.